I've had the pleasure of working with Elizabeth for a number of years now. I was looking at her resume and I was putting together some notes about things that she's done at the college, and she came to us from another community college in New Jersey, Passaic County Community College. She had been there, looks like, about 7 years, and she had been a writing center coordinator, an instructor of English, an English and ESL writing e-tutor, an ESL tutor, and an adjunct instructor. And it was the perfect platform to come in and to do the work here as a director, as a dean. She's been an interim dean in the STEM area. She's been an interim dean of instruction for us. She was absolutely fundamental in bringing the ESL and English divisions together and creating that collaboration and that seamless work for those two groups together. She has also, where are my notes on this? She has also been, for a period of time now, a lead on a big Title V grant that we have for English and for transitional programs. She has been absolutely instrumental college-wide in assessment and was key in helping us get ready for and continue to be doing what we need to do in assessment. She became a go-to person along with Heather and a couple of others. She, in her time here at Hudson, has been Director of Academic Foundations, Interim Associate Dean of STEM, was the Associate Dean of English and ESL, and most recently Interim Dean of Instruction. That is a lot of broad scope, a lot of broad expertise, a lot of deep experience and knowledge, and oh my gosh, are we going to miss Elizabeth, but we are so happy for her. She's taking on what I understand is a very, very big division at Rowan at Burlington, and we wish her so much success. They're getting a tremendous asset and a terrific leader. And from the academic division and the cabinet, I wish you just all the best. And I'm so happy for all the time that I've had working with you. Thank you.
Elizabeth, would you like to say anything? I didn't warn her we were going to do this.
Thanks. This is awkward. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who I've worked with over the past. I've been here almost 7.5 years. And Hudson, I sort of described it yesterday. It was stepping out of darkness into the sunlight for me. It was really kind of a lifesaver to come here and work with the great students, the great staff, faculty, everybody we have here. And so I'm really grateful to everybody, and I'm gonna miss you, and I'm gonna stop before I cry.
We'll have some time to thank her and celebrate her work before she leaves us. But Elizabeth, we are going to miss you greatly. Very happy for you, though. We are adding some town halls. I wanted to maybe clarify this. We're going to be adding them from time to time here in the evening and at the North Hudson campus. This doesn't mean we won't continue to hold the monthly meetings at this time, or at this time on whatever is our, what do we call it, our college hour. But we'll continue to do one a month at about this time on this campus, and then periodically an evening and a North Hudson. And so I would say there's certainly no need to attend more than one. I love it when you attend one, but unless you're a true glutton for punishment, no need to attend more than one. But in keeping with the feedback from those who've had difficulty attending, I've decided to add these meetings. So 2 additional fall meetings that we've scheduled are one on Monday, October 21st at 5 o'clock right here, and then Thursday, December 5th at 12:30 at North Hudson. And a complete listing of all the spring meetings will be developed and shared with everyone shortly after the new year. Is Clive Lee here? Clive's not here, but I wanted to share. He Dr. Lee and 6 of his students gave what I thought was not only an informative but truly inspirational presentation at Tuesday's Board of Trustees meeting. They spoke about a number of exciting STEM projects that just, they're exactly what the literature says is critical to student success. Active learning, hands-on, fun stuff like building a rocket. And I have noticed, like at Pizza with the President and at other things that I do, Clive has a following. He has students. They follow him, and it's for good reason. And so I hope his ears are burning. I wanted to thank him for all he does for our students, our college, and our community. And then I also want to do a plug, as I did at the board meeting, for something that's going to happen here on November 6th. It's going to be called STEMtastic. Our STEM faculty and staff are working on a program for middle school students in grades 6 through 8 in the Jersey City Public Schools in partnership with the Jersey City Schools and 4-H Rutgers Cooperative Extension. And I'm using Burl Yearwood's words here. Students will be led through activities using real-world science and technology skills, while parents will have the opportunity to participate in information sessions on preparing their children for college and career. Our goal is to provide Jersey City's future STEM professionals with a forum to explore their curiosities and engage in new learning experiences. It really sounds great. Burl, I want to thank you and many of your colleagues and students for the work you're doing to engage with Jersey City Schools in this exciting partnership and program. And after I mentioned this at the Board of Trustees meeting, I immediately had a trustee approach me and say, well, why aren't we doing it for Union City Schools? So I think we're going to be the truth is, in the beginning, Jersey City came to us, but we're going to be trying to do more and more of these kinds of things. We have a great facility. We've got exciting faculty. Just makes perfect sense. So thanks so much. Is there anything you would want to add or say?
Now I know how Elizabeth felt. No, I think this is a wonderful opportunity to reach out to middle schools and get the kids excited, and because what tends to happen is kids at middle school are very interested in science. They get to high school and along the way they lose that interest. So we're hoping just to be a part of encouraging students and their parents to get excited about STEM. And as the president mentioned, we have a wonderful STEM building. We have amazing faculty, so we're hoping that exposing the kids to that will, get them excited and enter a field where there's a huge need for in this country. Thanks.
Last weekend, I had the pleasure of joining 4 students, Executive Vice President Eric Friedman and North Hudson Campus Executive Director Uris Pujols, at the annual conference of the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, or HACU, in Chicago. And our student attendees were Kat Colon, president of the Feminism for All Club, treasurer of the Criminal Justice Club and a peer leader, Suri Hidalgo, president of the Criminal Justice Club and a peer leader, Rafael Castro, an America Needs You fellow and member of our Educational Opportunity Fund program, and Kaylin Segovia Vasquez, president of the Theater Arts Club, vice president of Public Relations for Data Student Council. She's also a peer leader. These students all excel, and we had a really great experience. And I just have to say again, our students, as usual, were enthusiastic and inspirational. Are any of them here? No. We had a dinner Sunday night, I think, all of us, and just had an opportunity to talk, to have each student share their experience and their goals and their aspirations. My partner said afterward, "Oh my gosh, I felt sort of insignificant," which he isn't. But man, it was a great experience. And the other thing I would say about HACU, it's the second time I've gone. You learn a lot there. The executive director, twice in the 2 times I've gone, opens it with some really pretty impactful data and charts. Not anything I think any of us were necessarily surprised to see, but you know, just the demographic trends, the growth of the Latino community is just skyrocketing compared to virtually all other groups. We already have a majority of our students who are Latino. The rest of the country is seeing this happen as well, and there are needs that, as there are with all constituencies, that are specific to that population of students. I feel we are really very much on the right track here in terms of what we do and are aspiring to do. One slide I can't get out of my mind, is I think we all know there's income disparity in the United States, right? There's a lot of discussion about that. And I often hear talk about, the top 1% of wage earners and the bottom whatever percent, and comparisons made. But in fact, Dr. Flores shared that there are 3 individuals in the United States who out-earn, whose assets are greater than 50% of the population. 3 individuals. And he also showed a chart showing that, in the United States, this income disparity, these trends have just been continuing. There's upward growth at the top and continuing loss of earnings for mostly everyone else. And if you look at Western Europe, that is not the case. Western Europe has been pretty much consistently low. There's a difference, but nothing like that. So this of course is manifest here in everything we do, and it reminded me of the fact that what we're doing and what post-secondary education is doing is giving people an opportunity to aspire to realize the American dream, and we see it in our students. Those 4 students are on their pathway. And anyway, I'll stop there, but it was a powerful experience. I want to thank Chris and Veronica Gerasimo for planning and facilitating the students' attendance and experience. Gerasimo from this campus, Uris was with them every step of the way, and it was great. Our President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion meeting last week, and wow, I think we had 33 or 34 members. I think 30 attended that first meeting. There were no more chairs in the boardroom. Lisa Williams and Uris Pujols are co-chairing the council, as I think you know, and I'd like to invite them to comment on the meeting and their work going forward, if they would. And I did ask them this in advance. Do you love this color?
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Reber. Thank you, Dr. Eric Friedman. And thank you to my amazing co-host of this group. So, yes, the President's Advisory Council on Diversity and Inclusion did have their kickoff meeting on Thursday, October 3rd. And it was well attended. We had 30 people out of 33 committee members attend. After we went around the room and got brief introductions from everyone, we heard brief remarks from President Reber, who then, after his remarks, did leave the room so that individuals would then be able to at least really feel that the work that we will do will be what we come up with, not something that administration is just telling us to do. So we did ask a question. We asked around the room to see what people's primary concern and or issue that brought them to the table. It was noted that our committee, we found out that we had a broad range of issues had been given that extended way beyond diversity, recruitment, and hiring practices here at Hudson. And it was noted that our committee would have the challenge and the job to decide on how to narrow down those issues so that it could be projects that we could actually work on and get done. So those projects will be flushed out in a strategic plan and a project plan to be carried out in years 1, 2, and 3. What's next? Some of the things coming up, we will be distributing a climate survey so that everyone in the college, all faculty, staff, and all students, and some outside people, I think some community people as well, people also on the board, people that are on our board of trustees here at the college, and people from the community are also members. And we did talk about how this survey will be released to you next week, sometime early next week, but yours can probably speak a little bit more to that. And this survey will give everyone at the college a voice in what we do in terms of our college being a leader in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to yours.
Thank you, Lilisa. I have to confess, when Dr. River first invited me to be a co-chair of this group, first I was very excited, and then I was very concerned. I'm like, oh Lord, this is a big deal, and I hope I don't get to screw it up. Luckily, I was relieved to know that I'll be working with Lilisa. I've enjoyed every step of the way, the planning and the execution, and I have to say that the meeting I felt went very well. As Lilisa mentioned, we had a very large group. That's always challenging on its own, but everybody that was there wanted to be there. We asked people for, what is the one top item that you think we should tackle? And even though there were different items, there were common themes. And that would be the task for us, to kind of flush it out, make sure that it matches the charges of the document that we have from the president, and also the survey that will be coming out next week would also be instrumental in bringing out those items out there. I know that we have to be practical and strategic. What are those items we could actually do? Definitely in a strategic plan on diversity, equity, and inclusion is imperative. And we will have to make sure that everything we do is consistent with that. And other things that we do at the college, diversity is also taken into account. So again, very excited. I'm excited to work on this. I'm humbled to be here. And I want to thank the president for choosing us, Eric. And Jose, I also want to thank you for all the legwork that you did before this with your group and the survey. Because, we're just getting the survey and handing it out, but you did all the work. So with that, I thank you, and I thank all of you. And again, this is our effort. Any input you have, we're always happy to hear. Thank you.
And thanks so much. So, really important priority work. Are there questions or comments? We're here together today.
I'll be happy.
Begin this journey.
I'll be happy to answer all the easy questions.
Or comment.
So I attended the first meeting. You guys really did do a great job. There's a lot of passion in the room around this topic. I think we all agree that we need to know as a group ourselves what diversity, equity, and inclusion means. So we may have asked you to pay for an outside consultant to come in to help us to figure that part out of it. But I'm excited for this journey. We got a chance to talk about things that may not have been comfortable to talk about before. And I think that was a great start.
And we do invite everyone to please be honest and open with the survey answers, because if we don't do that, we probably will miss many opportunities to make some groundbreaking, legendary type of actions and take actions and some initiatives. So please, I tested the survey out to answer the questions, and they are challenging. I found some of them challenging. I'm not going to pretend that this is a quick and easy 1, 2, 3, answer this and you're gone. But if that was the case, you probably wouldn't need a whole President's Advisory Council on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I'm begging you to please and encouraging, just bite the bullet. I mean, I think I can guarantee that no one will lose your job because you are open and honest about how you feel about the place where you work, where you spend over 8 hours a day. Some of us here have dual roles. We are administrators and we teach classes, or we help out on other committees and volunteer. So please, please ask any questions you like, and we'll be here to support you. And as the president,
Are there comments or questions? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. You could use the microphone.
Oh, hello. Will people with disability be included in that diversity as well?
Absolutely.
100%. When you talk about equity and inclusion, we're looking at the definitions, and it's essentially anything that might change the equation of what it is that, it speaks to the heart of equity. I mean, that's all I'll say of that, but that's one of the items that was listed on the original document, and we want to look at everything. We want to look at everything, because if the playing field is not level, is not fair, then, then we need to work on that. But absolutely.
That's a question, and that is one of the definitions that is also listed on the survey. So the survey has like a whole page of definitions. So they want to make it clear to anyone taking the survey that these are the types of topics and subjects that will be covered. And so there's a whole area there. So please make sure you do the survey. The survey is for students as well as everyone else. And just, again, being honest about how you feel about anything that you, how you feel about working here, being a student.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We're
you,
in
Chris.
good hands. We're really in good hands. Thank you. A little guilty. Eurus very honestly shared a little bit of his apprehension. Can you see how I worked this? I got it started, and then I left the room. But this, I know, I want to say, we created this document with, 30 charges or something like that. I do want to emphasize, we don't expect the group to tackle all those charges at one time. I'm assuming they'll probably hone in on just a couple to focus on this year, and then as time goes forward, move into other areas. Not to say that they're not going to look at all areas. And I want to also just second the notion that, if this work is done really well, meaning it really makes a difference and people feel that their ideas are heard and that we can make continuous improvement in having a community that is increasingly more focused on the principles that every person matters and that everybody deserves respect and also deserves to have their contributions celebrated. Doing that work requires an honest exchange and give and take. And if it's done well, it's been my experience that it will create differences of opinion. There will be difference. We will be, some people have called it stirring the pot. We'll be bringing differences, different points of view, different concerns to the surface. That's what it's all about. Anyway, couldn't be more pleased. Thank you so much, Lalisa, Eurus, and all of you. Show of hands. So much. Okay. So, moving to our student success work. This work continues to gain steam. It's hard to believe that we are already preparing for our Achieving the Dream Coaches will occur next month. And I've also asked them this in advance. I'd like to invite Sheila Dinan and or Heather DeVries to offer an ATD update. Heather.
Hi, everyone. Really, so if we're keeping score, you have 2 surveys now to do this month. You have the one for Eurus and Lalisa for the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And then you have the ICAT. Please do not forget about the Institutional Capacity Assessment Tool. It launches this a little under a week, October 16th, which is next Wednesday. You will receive it through a link in your email, and then there will be a specific HCCC code that you'll have to input, and there will be a few more instructions in the email. So keep a lookout for that. It takes about an hour. And if you feel like you can't kind of get the hour to complete it in your office, there are open labs available through work with Tricia Clay in her office and Diana Perez, where you can certainly use one of those computers. Otherwise, our data team and our core and strategy team have started to meet on their own, refining their charges. Data team has started developing a data dictionary so for those of us who speak in acronyms like IPEDS, and a few people say, what does that mean? Or turn to their neighbor, what does this stand for? We kind of have a place in a resource. They're building a resource so we can all kind of be speaking the same data language. Our core and strategy team is meeting again this Friday, and they will start to develop a communication plan so there's consistent messaging and constant messaging around ATD, as well as kind of taking inventory of our student success initiatives. So the work definitely continues, and again, please next week, the week after. It's open for hopefully just 2 weeks. Take the ICAT. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Sheila. Any questions?
Questions or comments for Heather?
There are. We are still finalizing. We have graciously, through Vice President Chevroletti and Alexa Riano, they have offered a table at subscription dining, I'm assuming for the spring semester. Veronica Gerasimo in her office. I have 2 sets of tickets, one for the Hip Hop Nutcracker at NJ Pack. Is that the one that's literally like the weekend before Christmas? Yep. And then there is another set of tickets for the Radio City Christmas Spectacular, which is earlier December. I believe I'll post those dates. And then Dr. Friedman and I are talking about a few others.
Did we decide which car we're going to have?
If I could, we would. So we're still sorting a few things out. But if there are any recommendations for incentives, or let us know. We definitely want to encourage full participation. I got the numbers from payroll the other day. Save for anyone who is strictly teaching, any adjunct who is strictly teaching quick term or online B. But in some ways, we're at 874. I'll let you figure out 75% of that on your own. But Sheila and I really want to challenge everyone, to every administrator, every faculty member, every staff member, full-time, part-time, to take the ICAT so all voices are represented, and we can have a really fruitful discussion when Mary and Renee visit. So you may see some emails. I think I'm retitling this Challenge 874. We had Project 60 last year. I think we'll have Challenge 874 this year. Excellent question, Lisa. Thank you.
Others? Well, thank you so much, Heather.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And yeah. And I just want to second the importance of taking this survey. We want everybody to take it, and it does take some time. So I have asked some of our members of our President's Executive Council if they have the opportunity to facilitate groups of us taking this, whether it be in staff meetings, Dean's Council, whatever. We encourage that, but this will only be valuable to us if we have a very large proportion of our employees who take it. And it starts soon, the 16th of October, so we'll be getting some reminders out there. Please take it. Okay, and so moving along, I want to thank Dr. Eric Friedman and the Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs Steering Committee for their leadership of our search for this exceedingly important position, and for completing full-day interviews recently of 3 finalists. I think that was within the last 2 weeks. Eric, would you like to provide a search update? I also asked him this in advance.
I got advance notice, so I'm ready. I actually was just, we send these announcements out, so I just wanted to clear this with Dr. Jones. But here's what you'll be getting on the email. I'll read it very quickly. Please join me in a hearty welcome for Dr. Darryl Jones, who joins us as the new Associate VP for Academic Affairs at HCCC. His office will be located in the library building on the 6th floor. He comes to us from HACC, which I have learned after going back and forth, is Harrisburg Area Community College, also known as Central Pennsylvania's Community College. So it becomes a long acronym. He's been serving as the vice president of the York campus, basically Uris Pujols. At the York campus, he provided leadership for faculty, administrators, and staff members. He supervised the academic programs, business operations, and student services for a 3,000-student campus, much like Uris Pujols. He holds a PhD in higher education leadership from Union Institute and University in Ohio and an MED in counseling and student development psychology from Howard University. Before working at HACC, wow, he's going from HACC to HCCC. Dr. Hack. I'm going to let that just lie. He was the Associate VP for Academic. I am still in such a great mood from Haku. It was so inspirational, and we just, wow. It was the experience of a lifetime, and Dr. Reber was paying the dinner bill. I mean, oh my God. No, but really, I mean, they shared from their guts, they shared their aspirations and dreams, and they talked about how coming to this college, one or two of them had gone to a different college before, how coming to this college had made all the difference, and how they were working, you know, with staff and faculty. It was amazing. Before working at HACC, Dr. Jones was the Associate VP for Academic Affairs at College of New Rochelle. He served as the Chief Academic Officer with oversight for academic deans and 175 full and part-time faculty members at 6 different sites, leadership and strategic planning for the instructional divisions. As an educator, Dr. Jones has taught a variety of psychology courses, including current psychotherapies, family process, child development, etc. He proudly served in the Marines from 1984 to 1990 in the Marine Corps Reserve and earned an honorable discharge. We're so looking forward to having him here on November 12th. And I got about 6 phone calls because it went in the board packet. And I happened to know a little bit early that Elizabeth was going to make this announcement, but I wasn't sharing it yet. And so the date of November 12th was in the board packet, and people called me and said, but Elizabeth's here. And I said, don't worry, it's timed, so everything's good. Can I share in a couple of other things while I'm up here? I too wanted to thank Clive Lee and the STEM division for inspiring all of us, and I really believe inspiring the board. I think that they really got it, and they saw the power of what goes on here, and that was a terrific moment as well. I want to thank Ilya for a conversation the other day in which it looks like, Burl, that there is a lab in 162 that we can use for advanced manufacturing and construction management. That's going to really, really help us. I also wanted to point to, I was listening to Eurus and Lalisa point to Dr. Reber when we were developing the self-study. He kept using the phrase continuous improvement. Some of us were saying continual improvement, and he kept saying, no, it's continuous improvement. And if you know him, he's got a highlighter, and he highlights it and says, no, it's continuous improvement. Heather's shaking her head over there. But, you know, we're on that trajectory in so many areas, and DEI is such an important part of our ATD work and so much work at the college. And thank you for speaking up about students and staff with challenges and different abilities. You know, whether it's the inability to open a door or the inability to get through a math class, or so many other policies that we created a long time ago that need to be really refreshed and changed. The time is now, and we can't do it all at the same time, but it's a great time where the spirit of continuous improvement that you've brought is really shining through. Thank you. College Service Day. Eurus used the phrase talking about DEI. He talked about this is our effort. Anna was open and honest with me, and she said, I'm not sure that everybody knows how to be part of the committee to plan College Service Day, etc. So I see Katie Sweeting back there, who's participated on the planning committees before. Please, if you have an idea for a workshop, if you want to be part of the planning committee, I see Alana Winslow there, everybody feel welcome to be part of the planning committee for College Service Day. That is a professional development day that really serves mostly faculty, but others as well. So don't feel like it's some secret society or something. It's totally open. A lot of people want to drop off ideas and run. Don't drop the idea and run. Stay, be part of the committee, help us plan, help us make it the best that it can be. And DEI, I really applaud the honest exchange. And I'm sorry I had to miss that meeting, but I have a really important issue that I want to bring up at the next meeting. And it came up yesterday during the religious holiday, and I'm not going to talk about it now because we're on such a positive trajectory. But that statue, the person who's on that statue out there was a rabid anti-Semitic person in writing and in many ways. And it doesn't represent the best of who we are. It doesn't represent inclusion. And I will bring it to the committee for discussion as well. It's important for us as a community and what we're about. Thank you. Yes.
Thanks so much, Eric.
Dr. Reber, before he goes away,
Yes.
the other thing we talked about, there was a small group of us that talked about our days off. We celebrate Columbus Day, we celebrate Good Friday, and those are not diverse or inclusive either. So we may come up with a proposal that they're floating holidays. We've had new employees to join us and wonder why we're not celebrating the Jewish holidays here as well. So we do need to look at all that.
Well, we're delighted that Dr. Jones will be joining our community. I was thoroughly impressed with him. If you saw his presentation, it was phenomenal. And the other thing that I would add to what Eric shared is he considers himself a New Jerseyan. So early in his career, he worked at Seton Hall, and he and his family lived in a home in Springfield that they've maintained as their primary residence to this day. And so in some ways, he's coming home. He was renting an apartment in York. Well, we have good news to report as well regarding our Student Center and our North Hudson campus roof construction projects. Ilya, will you give us an update? And he knows that I was going to ask.
Trying to speak loudly. Everything is good. We have all good news. North Hudson campus actually had a test for the rain yesterday. There was a strong rain. So we checked the building this morning. There's no leaks. As a matter of fact, the real test will be when the snow will be there. But we should be very optimistic because the roof is really strong and looks like we shouldn't have any problems. We are getting ready to move the faculty from the multi-purpose room back to the 7th floor. 7th floor is ready and looks very good and welcome to the faculty. It's fresh painted, it has a beautiful carpet there, clean, and the move is going to be scheduled for the weekend of 19th, 20th October, which is what, next week or weekend after. That's about North Hudson campus. As soon as we're going to move faculty back to the 7th floor, we're going to start restoration of multi-purpose, bringing it back to the regional purpose of use. In regards to the 81 SEEP, we are about 70 to 75% complete, still scheduled to get it completed and get it online before start being of the spring 2020 semester. I'm talking about already moving everything there and start fully operation. We got several requests of scheduled trips through the site before it's completed, and from student affairs, student activities, and I think we're going to grant that. We're going to have to wait maybe another week or two so to make sure those trips will be safe. Looks very good, and we are very optimistic, and we're in a good mood, and we got important projects. Any questions?
Fantastic. We have some questions, Ilya.
I just want to acknowledge Ilya. I mean, Ilya was talking to me about his staff the other day. Ilya is covering 13 facilities here with a small team, and they are responsive. They are changing belts. They are trying to be as proactive as possible. But, you know, we've grown a lot, and these guys run around and try to help us with everything. And they're really terrific.
I haven't been there in a week or so, but the I building, how is the sidewalk?
The I building, they're working there now. The concrete will be laid tomorrow and a couple of days next week. I would say to be safe by the end of the next week, it's going to be full operation of the main entrance.
Yeah, is that staying on the ramp the way that it is now?
No, the ramp will of course going to be removed because it's going to be full sidewalk and the doors will be open as always.
There's one concern regarding the entire building as my office is in there. They're unfortunately, because they have to work on that area right in front, people have to go around that area, going right into the street, and unfortunately, it's very narrow. So it's kind of a bit of a dangerous thing, you know, and I don't know if there can be a kind of a cones or something that would kind of designate it as a walkway temporarily, because it's kind of a tricky spot right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. It is definitely inconvenient, but we wanted to use this opportunity while the sidewalk was being replaced to be able to also address this perennial basement leaking problem. So, and so we've been speaking about the North Hudson campus. As I think you all know, we've had a task force that's been working on exploring the latest technology in ITV equipment that would allow us to share meetings and classes, sections, between our Journal Square and our North Hudson campus. Really technology that allows you to zoom in on speakers, and it's very, very real time. I don't think I asked you, but would you, Tricia, mind giving us an update? I'm trying to acknowledge when I ask and not ask. I guess I need to always ask. Oh, he did.
We bumped into each other somewhere, so he did ask. First of all, what I want to do is thank the members of the task force. So, and if you're here, just wave. Lauren Drew, Yuris Pujols, Archana Bandari, Bob Kahn, and Hardik Sanghvi. I know Hardik isn't here because I've asked him to do 14 things today. So, the task force reviewed 4 different proposals, and then we narrowed those down to 2, and from there we did a couple of trips. One was to Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia, and the other one was to the Cisco headquarters in New York City. When we were at Cisco headquarters, we were there and we were virtually meeting with a gentleman named Dr. Ford, who has a small school in, I think, Arkansas. And he showed us how he's able to work with his students and us in a truly inclusive way. And we were just, it really blew our doors off. And we were able to share with Chris the video of that experience. And it truly is just a total transformational kind of experience. I had taken a distance education class many years ago with dedicated equipment, and there were always a lot of complaints if you're on the far end that you're not really there with the professor, and that's not the way this will be. So the next step is determining a classroom here on the Journal Square campus and one at North Hudson, and then determining what other rooms will be a part of that initial project. So, and we intend to get it to the November board, so stay tuned. You'll hear more about it. But I want to thank Dr. Reber for his leadership in this area and really supporting us so that we could get it done. And I think you'll be very pleased. I hope to take the mileage down on some of these trips that you're, as much as we love to see him here, because we do. We don't need to burn quite as much gasoline going between campuses. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tricia. You've done a great job with that. And, you know, once this is up and running, I think realistically we're thinking fall is when it may be really available to start using. And we'll get to you in a second. The idea I would say is it's not about doing everything here, but letting North Hudson campus folks see it by ITV. We're going to be encouraging things to happen on both ends, because it can just as easily originate at North Hudson and be shared here. So we want to go in both directions. One of the things that I have asked for in the academic planning is that for those faculty who step forward and are willing to use this technology in order to extend courses that we offer here to North Hudson, or vice versa, that they agree to be at each end half the time, so that students in each location will have the opportunity to interact live and via ITV. And similarly, we're going to use this for meetings. And again, my hope would be this will actually open North Hudson as a more viable, that's probably not the right word, but a location where we can encourage people to do more originating kinds of things, because they can be shared here just as easily. Overall, it should be really, I think, helpful to bring our communities together, and so stay tuned on that one. Last evening, our foundation held a very successful annual donor scholar recognition dinner in this room. We had about 100 attendees, including student scholarship recipients, donors, foundation board members, elected officials, families, friends. I want to just say kudos and thanks to Nicholas Chevroletti, Murta Sanchez, Alexa Riano, and members of our foundation board for planning that, and for all the work they do in raising money and making it possible to offer scholarships. I know Nicholas is not here. Alexa and Murta, are they here? Well, I hope their ears are burning as well. We're planning to engage a search firm to help us recruit candidates for our new Vice President for Advancement and Communications position. You may recall we had interviewed 3 finalists, did not feel we had the right person, and so we ended that search and decided that we're going to work with a search firm that specializes in the recruitment of individuals that have this background and skill set. And so 2 national firms who specialize in the recruitment of advancement and fundraising professionals will be on campus to offer presentations of their work and services on Tuesday, October 22nd, after which we will advertise the position nationally, working with our consultant. I want to thank Nicholas Chevroletti, Foundation Board Chair Rich Makowitz, and members of our screening committee for their leadership and support of this very important process. And our work with iFactory to redevelop our website continues. This is really hard work. It's a year-long project, and I think I'm starting to wonder if I should keep going to meetings, because I've been a little bit pesty in them. But I want to thank all who've been involved in this exceedingly important work. And I didn't ask her, but Jen Christopher or anyone else who's involved in this, would you like to comment at all on where we are and what we're doing? Is Jen here? Anybody else? She walked out. Is Lisa here? Oh, Lisa, do you want to? Sorry.
Our working group was pretty small. Oh, thank you. Our working group was pretty small, and we've been asked to make some pretty significant decisions very quickly, and there's not that many of us on this working group. So we decided, with the support of the president, to extend that out to our entire website team so that we have representation from all departments and divisions. And we are now really in the process of deciding on the major buttons on the front page, which you would think is a pretty simple decision, but not so much. So we suggested 9 buckets, and then from there they're going to map the various pages, and we're really trying to make it really appeal to prospective students, really as a recruitment tool, but also knowing that faculty, staff, students, businesses, organizations, community members go to our website for important information also. So it's sort of a balancing act. So a lot of input is coming from different areas of the college, and we hope to be able to show something as soon as there's something worth showing. Right now it's very rough in terms of just the outline and some of the things we're deciding on. They did storyboards for us. If any of you have a creative mind, you know what a storyboard is, but we had to really sort of pick colors and design aspects of what it's going to look like. So we're very optimistic. It's going to be fantastic. It's, I think, a great experience for some of us who have never really done a website redesign, and we're really open to a lot of input, because it is a really huge decision. A lot of these, every single decision, it seems, is so crucial. So it's going well, and we're excited for tomorrow. We get to see how they've sort of organized the buckets and some of the pages. So any questions on that? Okay, yeah.
I went to a meeting over the summer with the people redesigning, with Lilisa actually. We were in a meeting together, and they were talking about putting less information
So, yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot, as you know, on our website. We're also talking about redoing our portal/intranet. So where we find faculty, staff, and students really go to the portal for most things. We want them to match in terms of branding. And so it will probably be, I don't know about less information, but clearer, more concise, less paragraphs, less words, more visuals, testimonials, videos, and just less clicks. So if I know that I want to study online, I can click to online and I get everything there. The president and I were just kind of fooling around in a meeting the other day, and I said, let me search for the North Hudson campus. And it was kind of just hidden. Like if you really wanted information on the North Hudson campus, you would have to know that you're looking for the North Hudson campus instead of, right on the front page knowing that we have all these different locations. So it should be just much more user-friendly and more appealing to the eye. And the testimonials and the videos, I think, are going to be really spectacular of our students. Any other questions?
It's a really good question. We definitely want to eliminate redundancy to the fullest extent possible. And I think what we're also heading toward is developing this intranet kind of over our portal. The intranet, we haven't made the final decision to do this. We're going to be talking more about it. But if we do it, the intranet will actually not be pass protected, but it will be focused on the kinds of information that our internal community needs, and some of that will be pulled out of the larger site, which we're trying to focus on the external community. But so probably a more user-friendly intranet, as well as a more focused public site, and then there will be pass protection for information that we need to keep protected, like some HR information and time cards and that sort of thing. But I agree with Lisa, the testimonials, we've been talking about our students. We want to bring them live. They tell the story better than anything we can write, right? So, okay, and I want to also share that several of our students are going to be meeting with our consultant to share ideas they developed in a bot class project. They had their own thoughts about what should be on the website, and so they're going to be sharing those. I'm going to stop there. I appreciate everybody's comments, but I would like to then open it to the floor for any other comments, questions, suggestions, announcements, celebrations. Veronica. I'm going to answer. I think we're hoping to have a classroom and maybe the multi-purpose room at North Hudson, and a meeting room. And then here, well, we're trying to figure this out, but so that we could have the larger events as well. Others? Anna.
Just wanted to reiterate my thanks for everyone who stopped by the benefits fair on Tuesday. It was really nice to see sort of a flow. At some point, there was a lot of buzz, and then it quieted down, and it was like, oh, no one's coming. But then there was another wave of buzzes, so it was great to see everyone. Thank you for coming. This is also an opportunity. We are in the open enrollment period, so if you need to make any changes, if there were to your forms, if you want to change a plan, this is the time to do it. The window closes on October 31st, and we have a very short window of time to get everything to the state and to the vendors. So make sure you get everything on time. We will focus our next coffee hour with HR on open enrollment, so that may be an opportunity for you to come in. We'll have the forms. If you need to fill out the forms, we'll talk through the forms. That will be on October 23rd. We don't have October 33rd, but and there will be announcements coming out. Again, we will be doing a session at North Hudson, a session at the main campus. We found that the Secaucus people come to the North Hudson campus, so that works out really nicely. Okay, so open enrollment. One key thing is there's no more Aetna starting in January. Yeah. So what will happen is this is an opportunity. If you are an Aetna member, if your medical provider is Aetna, like myself, for example, so what will happen is whatever plan you're on, so let's say I'm on Aetna 0, it will automatically convert to the Horizon 0. So, but this is an opportunity for you to think about, do you still want to be on 0 plan? Maybe want to change to 10, 15, 20 HMO, all those other plans. I know someone mentioned that the Aetna HMO is very different from the Horizon HMO in terms of the provider network. So that's something for you to consider. So those are really important questions, yes.
So this is huge, and I'm sure people are going to have a ton of questions. It's the first I'm hearing about this, so I have a ton of questions. Will there be informational sessions, Q&As?
Well, that's what, so first of all, the open enrollment email that we sent out earlier, as soon as we found out about, I think this was October 1st, this is when we found out about it. So that did include the information about the fact that there's no more Aetna. And the coffee hour with HR that we'll coordinate will be another opportunity for people to come and ask questions. Well, what I'd like to do is, although I haven't figured out how exactly, but basically contact all the Aetna people directly without bothering other people, and just have a focused message to that. I don't know if you have any other suggestions. That's a good question. We can find out. Any others? Any other suggestions? Oh, another important part, Ms. Ray reminds me all the time. So if you have kids who are approaching 26, you're going to need to find new coverage for them because they're no longer eligible as your dependents. And that applies whether you're part of the medical plan or whether you're on the health stipend waiver. So that's another important piece of information. Lisa. We do have, we'll circulate the forms. We'll circulate the forms because they came out with new forms. So I think what we have on the website, we need to change, but we will also circulate it. And what else did I want to say? Eric. I don't know that for a fact, so that's something, again, that's one of our efforts. We do have a list of everyone. Okay, so yes, but still, we do have a list of everyone who's on the, who has dependents, so that's another effort that we can reach out. We know the age as well. I'm pretty sure we have that information, so that would be another opportunity for us to reach out to specific individuals, so that's helpful. Yep.
26, I have a 26-year-old, so this was why I bug her about that all the time. If the 26-year-olds who are in our program, you have Cobra eligibility, or you can find another plan. If you aren't Cobra eligible, then on November 1st is when the Obamacare links opened up. So you really need to start looking now. There's a limited open enrollment for the plans that are not our plans, and they start on November the 1st. So if you can put that date on your calendar, you have an opportunity to look at Cobra for your kids who are aging out. And Eric's right, it's the year that they're 26, December 31st, they're no longer in a plan. Cobra is, you have up to 60 days after the person is no longer in a plan to get Cobra. The 61st day, they are not eligible and you're out there looking for a plan. So if you miss that 61st date, there is no open enrollment period for Obamacare until April, so they won't be covered for a couple of months. So really important to look at that information if you've got a 26-year-old.
If there are any other questions, feel free to reach out to me directly or reach out to Carmen. She's actually busy doing all the enrollments right now. But Carmen McGuire, our new benefits manager, or otherwise myself, and we'll be sending out more communications, more targeted communication to specific individuals. So we're trying to make this as easy, as transparent, as we'll remind you to the last day kind of way.
Thanks, Anna. Any other comments, questions? Pam and then Tricia.
Thank you. I have actually two announcements. One is this is the first time we are hosting. Actually, not hosting. We are actually offering. It's called Student Success Academy. We invited the students who completed 40 plus credits but struggling. So 40 plus credits completed. That means if we try and if they can try, they will be able to graduate in May. They can walk on the stage. So we created, and thanks to Dr. Friedman to come up with the name, Student Success Academy, and thanks to you, to Veronica. Veronica is going to pay for the lunch. So I don't have to listen to you, Linda. Where I'm going to get this money from? Veronica is kind enough to pay for the lunch. These students will come, and 5 faculty members will be working as their mentors. They will also come. Hopefully you and you will be coming too. These students will be introduced with all of the administrators and professors. Everyone is important, no doubt. But these students will be introduced with really key people, key counselors, tutors, and faculty who will be helping them to be successful in their academic journey. This is one announcement, and that will be held on October 15th, next Tuesday, from 12 to 2, right here. And also the dean's list. That's the other end of the rope. This is all SAP. So the other end of the rope, dean's list, the students whose grade point average is 3.5 to 4.0. 520 students are placed on dean's list for the spring 2019 semesters, and they will be here. We'll celebrate the dean's list certificate celebration. Again, that will be held here too on October 17th from 5 to 6:30. So if you can, please come and stop by and congratulate them. Thank you.
Tricia?
I just wanted to remind everyone that it's National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So when in doubt, delete that email. Don't click that link. Okay. But so we're having several sessions. There's one at North Hudson, but the next one is tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock in the library. Omar, what classroom is it? 518. So if you or your teams have time, please come. And remember that if someone's asking you to fill out some information, to click a link, or to buy them a gift card, immediately right now, you should not do that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
This is very quick, but Pam's students, it's not Pam's, the Student Success Academy that Pam is helping to lead, that is so deliciously counterintuitive. We are rewarding students who are on the SAP list. And we have been working hard with Lisa and with Veronica and others, Jose, to understand how to get students who are struggling on probation, or they were on suspension, how to get them across the completion line. And this is such a creative and wonderful thing. I really appreciate your leadership with this. Thank you.
Next week on October 16th, North Hudson will be having an in-service day, so all are welcome if you would like to hear some North Hudson updates. We've also been working with Lalisa to offer some professional staff development opportunities at our campus, and We will send the dates out next week. Veronica has put us in touch with the Safe Space trainer, so we'll also have a Safe Space training in North Hudson campus coming up soon, and all are welcome as well.
Does everyone know Amala, by the way?
Yes.
Amala's been working part-time at North Hudson for how long? 5 years, and she's part of the full-time North Hudson Center team now, and she is just a joy to work with.
I have three, but they'll be short. Chris Wall met Carol Lamparello, who is the chief of staff to the prosecutor of Hudson County, and she's asked us to be the venue for a sexual assault forum, which will occur on November the 13th from 10 to 2:30. We want everyone to attend. It'll be open to the Hudson County community. But if you are a professor in the room and your students are behavioral sciences, nursing, or criminal justice, it would be a great day for you to have your students come to attend and you to attend as well. I attended the Space and Facilities Committee meeting with Ilya, and we talked about the topic of lactating mothers. And I wanted you to be assured that we have responded in a way that is in accordance with the law. The law in November, I think it was 2018, breastfeeding moms became a protected group. So a lot of people think that the law changed in November 18th. That's the only change that occurred. Prior to that, in 2010, organizations like ours are required to provide a private space, and we have done that. We've only had 3 mothers since I've been here to have asked for private space, and we've provided that. So if you know any moms-to-be or moms that are here and they need help, please let them know that they can come to HR, and we'll work out an accommodation for them. And the last announcement I have is about Toastmasters. I was in a competition with Paula Robeson the other day for tall tales, and Paula Robeson won. So
I'm sorry. I just have a quick acknowledgement and announcement. So I just want to first say thank you to definitely Dr. Chris Reber, Dr. Eric Friedman, for supporting NISOD, the National Institute of Staff and Organizational Development, and AQ, the Association for College and University Educators, that collaborated and decided to allow us to co-host a very important faculty development training. And others will be there as well. So even if you are not a full-time faculty member, you may be on that list. So that is a training where teachers are going to, the people in the audience will learn how to develop and support underprepared students. And that's also, we're doing that in collaboration with Dr. Paula Roberson, who is the director for the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Innovation. But I also just wanted to give a special thank you to Elizabeth Nessius, who, when I said to her, how am I going to get this high number of people? I needed over 50 people to register for that. And that's one of the reasons I'm going to miss her most, that she gave me a tip on what to do, and it worked. So therefore, from that, I got Dr. Burl Yearwood and Catherine Sarangelo, Philip Cafaso, and all the other, deans that supported and sent me names, and Joe Caniglia. They did more than just send names. They actually contacted these individuals. They called them on the phone over the weekend, got their commitments, and we have the money. So, and they're going to be here on November the 2nd. We will be I think we'll be in the Scott Ring. NISOD is paying for the lunch. I just got an email today from the instructor. This is happening in November. They're already preparing for what they're going to do, and they want to see real results. They want to see what is going to happen with the information that you gain on that day. So how many faculty members here in the room that you are a faculty member? Raise your hand, part-time or full-time. Raise your hand if you're in the room and you're a faculty. So beautiful. So we know you all come out, you participate. So I just wanted to make that public announcement that they will be here. There will be other opportunities for professional development for faculty and other staff. So thank you.
Fantastic. And Archana.
Hi, everybody. We have our meet and greet for this semester on October 25th at 10 a.m. And we are having a wonderful discussion panel where online students and online teachers will be talking about their experiences in online learning and teaching and learning. So I hope to see you there. There will be snacks, so please do come. Again, October 25th, 10 a.m., and we'll go all the way to 12:30. Thank you.
Everybody, I'd just like to draw your attention to that we posted our annual security report. It's on a portal. I'd urge you all to take a look at it. We're mandated to do it every year by the Department of Education. Not only does it contain the crime stats for our area for the last 3 years, there's a lot of important policy and on-campus resources. So you can go to the security portal. There's a link there. I'd also tell you where you can get hard copies of it if you want to take it home and read it in the bathtub, whatever. But please avail yourself to it. Okay? Thank you.
Hello. So next Wednesday, the 16th, we have our first of our HCCC speaker series, ending out Hispanic Heritage Month. Saul Flores, there's some people behind me, I'm sorry, will be presenting Walk of the Immigrants. So this is a speaker whose parents were undocumented immigrants, grew up in America. For his senior project, he decided to take 3 months and walk from, I believe, Ecuador up to South Carolina to experience the experience of our immigrants. And took photographs all along the way. So he's going to be talking about his experience, showing his photographs. Eventually, he sold the photographs to raise money to open a school in Mexico, in his mom's hometown. So it's a great story. It should be a really exciting speech next Wednesday, 3:30, upstairs. Our second speaker is Chef Hugh Atkinson, December 10th, upstairs as well. And then 2 days later, December 12th, we'll be hosting our December graduate celebration at 6 p.m. We usually have it in the gallery. We may be moving it. There's a lot of graduates and a lot of people want to attend. But December 12th, 6 p.m., if you do know any students who are graduating this semester, save the date. They'll be getting a save the date, and they'll be getting an invitation early November. All right, thank you.
Thanks, and I think we need to bring this to a close. But if I could, I want to just mention a couple of things. Two conversations I had recently I'm going to share. One is, and actually this really rings true for me, I spent most of my career on a campus other than what would have been considered the main campus. And I'm going to encourage us in the future to refer to this campus as the Journal Square campus, not the main campus. Because quite honestly, if you were at the North Hudson campus and you're doing your program there, that is your main campus, right? So, and then we also have the Secaucus site now. And I wanted to mention that as our ITV project moves forward, if it proves to be helpful, we certainly may want to extend the ITV opportunity to Secaucus and also over time include other rooms. So that'll probably be a work in progress. The second thing I want to mention that I was talking with someone about is, it's human nature in meetings like this to say, I don't need a mic, I'll just speak up. And I want to just remind all of us, there are folks that are hearing impaired, okay, who don't necessarily want to advertise that, but sometimes with good intentions, when we don't use the mic, they have difficulty hearing. So don't always assume that by speaking up, you're getting the job done. So I'm going to encourage us in the future to take the opportunity to use the mic, and we'll want to make sure they have batteries too. And then the final thing is, I want to share a fun story, and actually, some of you have already heard it, but we were talking about the HACU conference. And recently Eric was sharing with me that he had been at a restaurant, and those of you that know Eric, which is most of you, know, and I've come to really appreciate this about him. He's maybe a little bit of a perfectionist at times, and he was sharing with me that he was at a restaurant. He's a chef and he has a whole background in culinary arts, and he was at a restaurant in Manhattan or in New York somewhere. And he was so impressed because when he went in, everything was perfect. The staff were all focused on their work and not mingling with one another. The tables were beautifully set. There wasn't a spot on the carpet. The meal was presented beautifully. The food was great. Every single aspect came together, and he appropriately complimented the staff. And I thought to myself, that makes me feel a little better because I think sometimes I can be a little, like the highlighting on the changes and suggested edits and stuff. But anyway, that sort of stuck with me. So we were at HACU together. We were at this huge luncheon, 2,000 people in a ballroom at round tables. And it was packed, and it was a served meal, and the program was continuing as the waiters and waitresses were removing all of the dirty plates and silverware and such. And we watched this server who had this tray that looked like it was 5 feet in diameter. It was huge, stacked with dirty plates, with gravy and beef and glassware half full. There must have been it looked like 100 forks, knives, and spoons. And she's going by our table, trying to get between our table and another, and one of these wooden tray stands had fallen. And so she tries to go up over it, and I see just like a plate slid down onto Eric's lap. And then everything went on to Eric. And I'm not talking about a few things, I mean everything. It made this huge, huge noise. Everyone in the room looked. The person that was leading it said, "Hey, shh," And truthfully, the plates had broken. There was glass all over the place. And so I applaud you because he talked only about the positive things. That was a bit of a moment. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. Okay, well, this has been fun. Thank you all for a great town hall meeting. Have a great rest of the day. Eric, I hope I didn't embarrass you. Sorry. Take care.